Hello and welcome to another episode of the Underhive Lorekeepers podcast. I'm Spamuel. That's Nathan. I was supposed to think of something funny to open the show with.
You're doing something different. That's good.
Okay.
No, you are usually pretty funny. I retract that. You are usually quite funny with your openings. So obviously there's a reason you're not prepared or ready to go.
Yeah, no, I just forgot. Okay. Got it. And to my right, a man who once told me that the average lifespan of an imperial citizen is really, it depends on who notices you. It's Nathan. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. I did say that, and it was really about like who notices you, as in like.
It was at your son's birthday party, which was awkward.
Yes, it was. It was at my son's birthday party, but that's what happens when I'm on a sugar high.
It was more of a warning.
I was getting pretty annoyed with some of the behaviour I was seeing, and I was the one that was noticing.
I get it. You're 3. Maybe learn to shut your mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
Get a job.
Yeah. Did you pay for any of this? No, you didn't. I did.
But
anyway.
Yes. How are you? You are currently on like an Air Force base. What's up?
I am. Yes, I'm working on an Air Force base. So time for recording, as seems to be the theme for this year, has been incredibly limited. My work has just decided you don't need to be at home anymore. You just need to work on drill rigs and make that your new home. Build yourself a life there.
Great thing I learned when you told me this is we have an Air Force, which honestly, massive.
I actually think it's New Zealand who doesn't have an Air Force. I'm not even joking about this either.
They must.
They don't. I'm almost certain they don't. I think they've got some sort of navy, definitely an army, but
they definitely do.
Okay.
But it doesn't have any fighter or bomber jets.
Yeah, so it actually has no planes. It probably has
it's mostly helicopters.
Yeah.
And like transport planes.
Yep. Really.
And yep, I've just looked at the ranking members of the New Zealand Air Force. I'm related to most of them. Yes.
Yeah, okay. That sort of makes a great deal of sense as why they haven't got the high-tech stuff. Yeah.
One of my uncles most likely sold it to someone else. So, yes, we don't have a lot of time.
No,
so
we don't.
We can't do this. You were at work, and because of the limited time frame we have, we are going to be looking at doing some shorter episodes.
Yeah, I think the condition of how I'm working and so forth is not going to end anytime soon. So maybe the next 2 episodes, I'm hoping, is all it's going to impact. They might be just shorter ones, just so that we can actually still deliver. We still want to be a postal service.
Rain, hail, shine, Nathan working far away from home, Spamuel forgetting that we're supposed to be recording and instead playing video games. You know, we get the episodes out there no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in that regards, we are actually looking at jumping into a topic that a couple of people have asked us to look into. And it is some of the sort of named Dramatis Personae. So if you're on our Patreon, you know we've done a whole series on the Dramatis Personae. They're the generic ones, but we've purposefully stayed away from a lot of the house-specific personae themselves. The reason for this being is we wanted to sort of do revisits onto some of the earlier gang books, the House of books, for example. And we are going to be looking at doing that later on down the track. But for the moment, we're primarily looking at the characters in those books themselves. And we decided to sort of take a jump at this. It was perfect timing because Nathan is away. But also, the other night, I stuck several crayons in my nose and was just like, I really want to do another Goliath episode. So it kind of worked out well.
It's good as well because I think the Goliath episode is our longest. So
like 8 and a bit hours, yeah.
8 and a bit hours, like that was ridiculous. But I guess if we make this a short one, you can sort of have the best of both worlds with Goliath, our longest and our shortest.
Which is kind of like their IQs, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We have a long IQ and a short IQ. Yeah, that is not how we rate them.
We shouldn't be insulting the Goliath gene puddle. But before we do get into that, remember, if you do enjoy the episode and the show, and you are interested in supporting the podcast, please shoot over to patreon.com/the Underhive Lorekeepers podcast. We are 100% funded by the goodwill of our audience, though we do this for the love of our hobby and also hoping that Crayola get on board. Each month, we have a Patreon-exclusive episode, as well as competitions, polls on episodes, and other bonus content. Now, if you are looking for another way to support us, get onto our social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. A like, comment, and subscribe helps us grow and get our particular brand of lore out into the world. All of our links will be in the show notes, and don't forget to give us a 5-star review on your preferred podcast platform. And we do merch.
We do merchandise, yes.
We don't do dice.
No, we don't do merch and dice. We just do merchandise, but not merch and dice. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we will do dice eventually one day.
We need to get dice.
Anybody who does dice, let us know. Please speak to us.
Oh, yeah.
I've spoken to so many companies, and it's just been all quiet on the Western Front. Don't ever hear from them again, or they show me what they're capable of doing, and I'm just like, well, that's not what we're looking for. Or their cost has been redonkulous. So if somebody wants to make dice for the show, and be part of this wonderful journey, please get in contact.
I swear I was talking to someone about it, and then he just stopped messaging me back.
Yeah, right.
Actually, okay. My wife's also stopped messaging me back.
I can see the common denominator.
Yeah. I was talking to her about dice. It's weird. Terrible
idea. Yes, but anyway, we do have an episode, don't we?
Yes,
the Crayola Central episode.
Yes, we do. So we are obviously going to be looking at some of the Dramatis Personae based in and around House Goliath. And looking at this here, Nathan, House Goliath is actually blessed with named characters in that fact.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, looking here, they have 8 named characters.
Wow.
So that's more than literally anyone else. There it is, more than the number of original teeth that Van Sargangers actually have. So radiation does things. Nathan, so why don't you pick one first? And I'm going to be a nice guy because I don't want to waste time. You're on a time frame. So why don't you go ahead and pick who you want to do?
Okay, well, I didn't expect that. I thought we were going to have a structure and order, but it is very Goliath-y to just be like, pick the strongest, read the strongest.
Who the biggest?
Who the biggest? And that would be the cleaning master himself, Ajex Gorgoth.
Ajex.
No. Ajex.
It's not Ajax, it's Ajex. Oh, he gets me saying with the New Zealand accent. Yeah. Get the Ajex.
Get the Ajex. I've got to get rid of the Greece, see? Because Ajax destroyed Greece, I think. I don't know.
Ajex Gorgoth, Lord of the Fist, Goliath, Alpha House Agent. The Fist of Hive Primus is the largest Goliath enclave on Necromunda, and Ajex Gorgoth is its master. One of the 8 alphas of Hive Primus, he serves Over Tyrant Baron Gore by ruling the manufactorums, slave pits, fighting arenas, and forges of the Fist. Unlike his counterparts in the clan houses, Ajex is far from some piddling bureaucrat or hive overseer. Content to live his life counting quotas and gathering up tithe chits, the Lord of the Fist is a far more hands-on master, either fighting in the House of Pain, the Fist's largest fighting pit, or descending into the Underhive to expand the territories of the clan and gather slaves for its factories. Ajex's long and bloody history began in the forge pits of Vat City. Vat City, bitch, Vat City, bitch. Gathering up molten slag spilled from the great weapons presses. A Natborn, Ajex's cunning was apparent even then. The future Alpha using cast-off metal to fashion his own weapons. Over the following years, Ajex fought his way up to lead the Forge Lords gang, augmenting his body with homemade bionics and blades, including replacing his nose when it was bitten off in a fight. His powered armor is something he fashioned himself, the weight far beyond what most normal fighters could hope to carry. Fed on dirty promethium, it emits clouds of greasy black smoke, but also gives his servo claw the strength to rip off an Ambot's head. Ajex eventually became the ruler of the Fist when he defeated its previous alpha, whose skull he still carries around on a trophy rack fixed to his back. Varen Gore is watching Ajex's career with great interest, lest Gore's skull also end up adorning the alpha's armor. So, just from that one there, you don't have to worry about that, Mr. Gore. You dead. you got gun-fisted, and you got gun-fisted hard.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, he did.
We really should have started with Djangar Gunfists.
We probably should have. That would have been sequentially a lot better. But no, but Ajex
Djangar Gunfists.
Put that on myself. Go. But just the description of Ajex, and I think the miniature as well, really lead to something. The
miniature is phenomenal.
Oh, it's great. It gives off anywhere between, like, convert me to an orc boy in some way, shape or form, to this is probably what a Thunder Warrior was, sort of vibes to it as well.
Yes.
But it is the roughest, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's a real rough version of what a Space Marine could be.
Yes.
Like, we're really, really sort of pushing the boundary. And it's not just because of the powered armor, but in terms of just the bulk and the volume of what this character is. Do you know what I mean? It's just...
He's
absolutely
enormous.
Yeah, he's enormous. Absolutely enormous. And the read we have of him gives us that impression as well, of this character that is all just about living the Goliath ethos of, I am going to crush skulls, I am going to kick heads, I am going to bash things constantly. And it not in that, like, blunt force battering ram style of weapon, but as almost like a smart Goliath, in the sense of a bit more calculated, a bit more cunning, a bit more understanding of what it takes to remain on top and what it takes to get to the top as well.
Well, it's funny because about what you mentioned about his cunning. So during the Cinderak burning section of the Aranthian Succession, it actually specifically mentions his cunning and his intelligence. So this is, as everything's going down, while the battle in Hive Ceres waned in the favour of the House of Blades, the same could not be said for Hive Primus, where the struggle often focused on individual settlements. Ajex Gorgoth, Master of the Fist, proved that not all Goliaths are without cunning, and conscripted the rebel Hagar Freelord, self-proclaimed master of the Makeda Umbris, to conquer Port Mad Dog. The Hive Shell settlement had suffered greatly during the Great Darkness, and large portions of it were still exposed to the choking dust of the wasteland. In a single bloody cycle, Ajex and his gang stormed the outpost, driving their enemies off the great conveyor and hurling them from the hive, allowing Hagar to reclaim his position as master of Port Mad Dog, much to the dismay of his children, who now rotted in the Makeda Guild dungeons. Now, he's literally gone in there and just been like, hold on, I can use my own soldiers to conquer this place, which is going to be kind of important to me. Or I can get the guy who knows the back doors and all the systems and the security systems and be like, hey, buddy, you go from that side, I go from this side. And then rule it as my, like, proxy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go over there and kill those guys afterwards. Like, it's talking about him like he's a natborn. He's naturally smarter. He's what's the word I'm looking for?
But also being
better.
natborn, he's better. But I think, and I don't. This is just without evidence, I'll say. But being natborn, there is a more like acclimatization, more of a life lived in the Underhive than.
Because you are living it, yes.
Yeah, you're living it. You've had to grow up in that. You're not necessarily, pumped out, nearly ready to go sort of thing. So it's the trauma, the I guess the experiences of being in a situation like that would then be able to influence your decision making, influence your viewpoint on how to do things, and then you couple that with incredible strength and obviously the ability to craft and forge much more, I guess, efficiently than other Goliath. And suddenly you have this character who, it can really stand out, not just amongst House Goliath, but amongst, the big bads of Necromunda, in the sense that this is a character with definitely some smarts about them, the muscle to back it up, and the ingenuity to understand what he needs to further his cause.
Yes, and I'm gonna harp on about this a little bit. Like, Goliath are big, we know that, but this dude he's just massive. And what you say, like, to me, he's a Thunder Warrior. He's if you wanted to make a Thunder Warrior for a 40k army, or as a Dramatis Personae that you want to put into the Hive.
Yep.
Firstly, you just go to the House of Chains and you look up the rules for Ajex Gorgoth and just go, that's a freaking Thunder Warrior. You just get the actual model. You maybe scrape off the Goliath logo, and then you just put it there and just go, away with you. This guy somehow got here from Terra. Like, we don't know how it happened, but everyone is about to die. He's monstrous. And
I would love to know his size comparison, actually. Let's have a quick little look at that.
Well, like, if you look at the miniature, he's on a 32mm base, so it's pretty standard for Goliath. Goliath are on 32mm bases, aren't they?
I believe so. So. That or 28mm, which is, honestly, when I actually had a friend of mine having to rebase their army with 28mm, and they got it. They just went, they're 28mm, but they happen to be 32s. So I think what I'm trying to say is, like, the size variation is not that big a difference anyway.
Yeah, no. So I looked at the Goliath gang there. They come on 32mm bases.
Yeah.
So he's roughly the same size base-wise as another Goliath, but when you look at he is so much more imposing than other Goliath miniatures. The bulk of him, because of his armor, because of the pose, like the model it's not running, but he's almost charging forward. He's got the fist semi-race. He's sort of bringing that big chainsaw to his back for a swing. Like, this dude is just wrath incarnate. I don't know whether he is a Thunder Warrior, a proto version of a World Eater. Like, this is a guy who could sit down for, like, tea and scrumpets with Angron, and the two of them would have a lot in common.
How angry are you? Well, I don't even like crumpets. Whoa.
Ooh, tough guy.
Oh, tough guy, eh? I
Don't
would actually
mention
like
my
to
nose.
see... Yeah.
Do not mention my nose. I will headbutt you good.
Him compared to Vandoth would be pretty cool, actually, seeing the two miniatures up next to each other. But just even those two in some sort of conflict or some sort of fight, I think you would see a fight for the ages in that one. It would be, it's one of those like old ancient battles where a circle would clear around them and people would just be evacuating that part of the hive and just going, all right, just let them show down. You've got Vandoth with his just combat knife, his Blood Angel combat knife, and, Ajex with his scrubber and power fist and just ready to go. I think it'd be a great fight. It would be a phenomenal fight, actually, I think.
I think they would be tearing down whatever section of the hive they were in at that time. Because you'd go to punch Ajex in the jaw, and his whole jaw is made of metal. He's got the metal nose. He's got the old man chin is like it's steel. And then he's got the enormous mohawk that, honestly, if you could use him as a flotation device and ride him like a windsurfer back to shore.
Absolutely. See, and that mohawk, and I think the artwork that we see of him as well, this is one of the things that I really love about this character, and it's something I've mentioned on the show before, is that we can drift sometimes especially in 40k. Necromunda's a little bit less inclined to do it, but we can drift into the field of making things look a little bit too realistic or a little bit too linear, I guess. So when you see something like this ridiculous size mohawk or whatever, they're really cool parts of Necromunda that I like. It's showing the extreme nature and like the over the top, the ridiculous aspect of it. That is 40k. That is Necromunda, and that I think is really cool. Even though there's a fair argument to say, hey, get rid of it. It probably it probably is a little bit over the top, but I think it kind of gives off that Mad Max Return to Thunderdome, I think it was, or Thunderdome, whatever it is.
Yes.
It kind of gives off that kind of wild, beyond the realm aesthetic of what the character is. And I think that, it helps exemplifies the character as a leader. It helps exemplify the character as somebody who you don't mess with, because nobody's going to be sitting there going, ha, your mohawk looks silly, because he's just going to be, that's it. I'm just going to
headbutt you to death now.
Yeah, I'm just going to kill you with just my mohawk. That's it. So those kind of aspects give that sort of ridiculous king of old type of presence to the miniature. But also, I think it should be said to the artwork as well, where you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, this is bonkers. This is House Goliath at the extreme end, which is what we want to see. That's what House Goliath should be all about. That it should be the over the top, and this is a really good character to help show that, because it is almost at that ridiculous level where the armor is so big, that the power fist is big, the chainsword is big, just weapons and armor that could never be wielded by anything other than Ajax.
But this is another thing here, like, the vast majority of Goliath, as well as the vast majority of Goliath players, are very simple people. Like, they understand, I need to get to that to then hurt that. And with someone like Ajex, who is a Natborn, who is smarter than the average Goliath, and this seems to be an ongoing theme with a lot of the Goliath characters who outshine their fellows. They're either incredibly dim-witted but horrifically brutal, or they are much, much smarter than average, like smarter than your average person, but also horrifically brutal. Ajex is of the latter type, where he started as he was hanging out in the manufactorums, and he was gathering up scrap and making himself some weapons and armor. And then he's just like, hey, I'm going to make myself these weapons and armor, and I'm going to go join a gang, and then I'm going to take over that gang. And oh no, I've been stabbed, or I can't get blood down to this arm anymore. I'm going to jam a hose in my arm and jam it straight into my heart. And he's been upgrading himself bit by bit. Now, because of his position, he definitely has access to proper equipment and proper medical access and the ability to get all of that other stuff if he needs it. But he knows that his fellow Goliath don't respect that. They're going to look at him and go, he made that armor. He made those weapons. He's killed hundreds, or he's fought dozens of battles and against the strongest gladiators we can throw at him, and he's come out victorious. He is what a Goliath is.
And I think so. And the fact that you are able to get yourself to that position of alpha, that's where it's like, wow, this is somebody who needs to be viewed at with a lot of respect, because and I think that's probably what we're going to see throughout the Goliath characters, is that being violent or big is not enough to allow you to get as far as you need to be within the hierarchy of the gang. And there's sort of a bit of a similarity to orcs there as well. Orcs need a little bit of cunning. They can't just be the biggest and the meanest. And just one more last thing that I want to say about the Ajex model as well is that I think it's the stimmer that you can get in the specialist. The one who's sort of like leaping forward, arms out.
Yep.
Yep. And that's a bigger model, right? In terms of scale, in terms of the very presence of it. But it's not nearly as intimidating as the Ajex model. Where you look at that and you're just like, whoa, mate, that coming at you just, even if you were completely ignorant of the game of Necromunda, you would understand that figure is something not to be trifled with.
100%. But I find Ajex more intimidating than a stimmer, because you look at the stimmer and go, you're quite obviously just a breathing body that has been filled with that much of, steroids and chems and all that sort of stuff, and you've been to the point where you can barely be referenced as human anymore. Obviously, because we know that the Goliath are basically an abhuman race. But you are engineered. And if you look at Ajex, you built yourself. You did this to yourself. You've chosen to forge yourself as this monster. And you've not gone the route of, hey, you, make me bigger, make me more dangerous. You've woken up one morning, chosen violence, and then replaced your jaw with like a piece of metal.
I like that. Chosen violence and specialised. It's like, I'm taking out all my points out of charisma and I'm putting them all into violence.
Yep.
There's not a violence category.
I will punch you in the face.
Exactly. So I think overall that character is just, as a representation of just the high point of what you want to be within the Goliath social structure. That's what that character is. And we've said it before, it's brains, it's brawn, and it's cunning, and it's all wrapped together in a powered armoured suit. But I am pressed for time, so let us read another. Or let you hijack another. Is that what you want to do?
I'm not going to hijack it. You can pick whichever one you want, and I promise I will not hijack it. Or what if I pick one for you, and then you do it?
Well, I think we should potentially do old Gunfists.
I was going to say, what about Djangar Gunfist, the Over Tyrant and the Over Tyrant Bounty Hunter, and now, I guess, I'm not going to ruin it. People might not have listened to the Cinderac burning episode yet.
It's funny
Over Tyrants don't retire. No, sorry, go.
I deserve this. It's funny
You
how
choose this.
I do. Every time I jump on to record, I know what I'm getting myself involved in. But as for the third time, I'm going to try and say it. It's funny how Nestle still managed to exist in the 41st millennium.
What?
You know the Nestle, the chocolate company.
Yeah.
Yeah, bounty hunters. Obviously, he's got an affliction for them, or an addiction to them. Bounties, little chocolate.
Listen,
cocoa.
I did that to myself. I've done that to myself, and you're absolutely right.
We record because we hate ourselves. That's the heart and soul of this podcast, folks.
Also,
Anyway.
I genuinely don't believe there are coconuts in the 40th millennium or 42nd millennium, whatever you want to be.
Mate, that is a cocoa nut opinion.
You proud of that one?
Yes. No. Over tyrants don't retire, and those few that expire from old age are by far the exception. Djangar was over tyrant for over 10 world cycles before Varan Gore, falling in single combat to Varan's predecessor. And fall is what he did. During the challenge, the over tyrant and his opponent duelled in the Sky Pit, the open arena that hangs out from the edge of the fist over the toxic clouds below. A devastating blow sent Djangar tumbling out into its abyss, his rival declaring victory even before the former over tyrant disappeared from sight. Yet Djangar didn't die. Through some quirk of fate, the Goliath rolled down the side of the hive, his massive body slammed and smashed from one level to the next, until at last he came to rest on the roof of a departing ash hauler. When Djangar came to, his body broken in countless places and his face mangled beyond recognition. He had no memory of who he was or where he had come from. Out in the waste, Djangar made a new name for himself as a hired gun, wielding a pair of custom stub cannon, his face covered by a ragged hood. Djangar Gunfists, as he became known, found his travels slowly leading him back towards Hive Primus, though he didn't know why. When at last he entered the hive, selling his services to gangs and guilders, his memory remained cloudy, but a few recognised the old over tyrant. Now, there are forces moving to take advantage of Djangar's return, and it seems likely a showdown is coming between the massive gunfighter and Varan Gore. Spoiler alert, the showdown happened. So if you don't want to know the spoiler, turn off for like the next, I don't know, 45 minutes.
However long the episode goes.
Yeah, I can't guarantee that we're going to not spoil it later on. So we do know that Djangar does eventually meet up with Varan. He meets up via, what's her name? She helps him.
So, yeah, Lady Credo.
Credo, that's the one.
Is the one who really gets involved with this. So, the actual read there from Cinderak Burning is, years ago, Lady Credo had met with the former over-tyrant Djangar Gunfists, saving his life during an ash waste nomad ambush north of Cinderak City. At the time, the grizzled old Goliath had thought Credo just another outlander trying to survive in the wilds, and had freely offered up a promise of aid should she ever need it. It hadn't occurred to Djangar that Credo might be able to help him in his quest for revenge against Varan Gore. And yeah, she helps him all right.
Yeah, she definitely helps him to the point where, what do we call him? The former over-tyrant? Yeah. He's now the current over-tyrant.
Well, he gunfists our boy Angry Goat.
Yes.
And
then he does the same to Varan Gore. Does he not?
Yeah.
Or does he? Yeah. So he reinstated himself. So that little story arc of Djangar Gunfist came to almost a 360. So re-establishment of his memory in a way. From what I can remember myself, I don't think he fully remembers everything about his past.
from what I recall, he's still cloudy on some things. He remembers who he was and who
Yep.
took his place, and then he remembers everything from outside in the wastes.
That's
So
right. Yep.
he comes in, and I'm just gonna revisit an amazing section of this. Now, this is during the Cinderak Burning book, when Djangar Gunfist has basically just kicked his way back into the fist and has basically said, "Hey, what's up, homie? We should fight." The two Over Tyrants, old and new, stared at each other, all those nearby wisely backing away. Varen had bested Djangar once before, hurling him from the very hive they stood in, and contemptuously thought to do so again. Years of wandering the wastes, however, had changed Djangar, and there was a single-minded brutality to him that only the harshness of the Outlands could impart. A lesser leader might have dispatched his champions to kill Djangar, or drag him off in chains, though this was not the Goliath way, and Varen could not appear weak before his clan. So he readied himself for Djangar's challenge, loosening the heavy chain blade at his hips. Unfortunately for Varen, Angry Goat was not privy to the customs of the clan house, and considered this strange, unwashed newcomer as little more than a nuisance. Equally unfortunate for Angry Goat, a lifetime in the Spire had given him a false sense of invulnerability, and so he strode toward to confront Djangar and order the brute to leave. He took 3 steps towards the old Over Tyrant, opened his mouth to give him a stern dressing down, just before Djangar shot him in the face, never once breaking his gaze with Varen. "You got gun-fisted, son."
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's I do remember us reading that, and it's a great thing to touch back on as well, because it's so 40k. It's so Necromunda. You know what I mean? It's just like
It's just ridiculous.
Why is he talking to me like he knows me? Boom, done. He doesn't even get a word out, but
No.
his approach is enough. Yeah.
Well, it is incredibly 40k. You know, like, these guys put the grim and dark in grimdark. But
Yes.
sort of, and just to refresh the audience's memory, so Angry Goat gets gun-fisted, and then the best part of the read is immediately after that. Even before the sound of the gunshot had faded, bedlam erupted in the arena. Angry Goat's personal guards levelled weapons at Djangar, ready to gun him down, only to be set upon by the gathered Goliaths for interfering in a challenge. So they're like, "Hold on, you just killed our boss, we're going to kill you." The other Goliaths are looking at this going, No, we're about to witness a show. How dare you, sir? And have proceeded to, I'm imagining, throwing themselves while screaming incoherently. Very similar to our friends over in the World Eaters. But Djangar gets charged by Varen, and they basically... Have you ever seen like a documentary of silverback gorillas fighting each other where they just charge?
Yeah. And it's all just about crashing volume into each other. Yeah.
Mate, like, they both just drop their weapons and... Sorry, no, Djangar drops his weapons, grabbing his, like, Varen's sword, throws it away, and they just start punching, headbutting, like, just smashing the absolute codswallop out of each other. And eventually, Djangar chokes Varen, and then is just looking around. The fight is basically over. Those poor guards have just been torn limb from limb.
Yeah.
And they're all staring at Djangar like, all right, what's going to happen here? He then basically goes, all right, cool. Pushes everything aside and is like, okay, so someone give me the run of whatever is going on here. And yeah, so he then basically declares war on the Escher and sort of goes to town in that respect.
But I think, I mean, that's the stuff from, you know, the Uranthian succession and so forth. I think what we see from Djangar is that tenacity that we know exists within the House Goliath. We're 100% aware of it. But this is a true understanding of that. So, when you've played your gang of Goliath and you've had your leader survive multiple times, and that you can begin to develop some depth and story about all the scars and just the incredible resilience of being a member of House Goliath. What that is, Djangar is that already presented for you. He's just saying, fell off the fist, basically.
Was thrown off the fist after getting an absolute snot kicked out of him.
Yeah, and walked away with a bit of a concussion, little bit of
mild memory loss.
Mild memory loss, bit of selective memory, and then decided, okay, well, what am I going to do with my life? I am going to shoot people.
Yep.
Done. Perfect. And
say less.
It's just say less. That's probably all he could say. Me shoot people. Done. But I again, as I said, this reiterates the point of the tenacity of House Goliath, and even just the writing attached to it. Say if you were to replace that with a House Van Saar leader falling that far, it's completely unacceptable and completely inconceivable that they would then be able to recover from that fall. Just from
Firstly, sir, no. My Juve fell off a building, hit my gang leader, killed him dead, got up, not a single scratch. It's not the falling that killed, it's the Juve falling on you that will kill you.
But
100%. You are 100% correct.
Yeah, but my point being is that when it's written up about a member of House Goliath, and House Goliath's the only real one that you can take these wild and absurd stories that require, orc-like toughness and Space Marine style resilience, and apply a little bit of that to the story of House Goliath, and you go, yeah, absolutely, that's a believable thing. I don't have to suspend my belief to go along with this particular lore that's been created. And then you layer that on with that I think, and it's something that gets missed with Goliath a lot as well, is that there is that mental resilience, that mental toughness that comes from probably a fair amount of ignorance, a fair amount of stupidity.
It doesn't reflect in their intelligence rolls, but it does reflect well in their intelligence rolls. But yes,
yeah, exactly. So you're going to see that, and you can have these stories and these characters and these creations that are purely dependent on the I guess the physical prowess of the individual, and that's where Djangar is just ticks all the boxes going through, and then is quite easily led by the nose by Lady Credo, but it does pull a bit of a shifty on her near the end of it anyway, when he's like, he does. You do remember, because she's like, go do this. He's like, absolutely, I'll go do that for you. Just gonna make a little pit stop here and reclaim the entire House of Goliath back for myself. It's that cunning that we were talking about with Ajex as well.
Yes.
That cunning and that smarts that's needed to not just be, the number one killer, but also the number one killer capable of rising in the ranks.
No, I 100% agree with you. And it's funny what you say about him basically screwing things up after that happens, because his whole idea of just being like, all right, so this is what we're going to do. What's the plan so far? We're going to take the city of Cinderak. We're going to kill all the Escher. All right, cool. Do that, but do it with more guns. What? Just kill everyone. Like, why am I having to explain this to you? And then the Goliath is just like, and I've said it already, but say less. Like, we're in. But then that all happens, and then during was it the Vault of Temenos? It literally describes Djangar here. It's called Fists of the Over Tyrant. Djangar proves to be a poor ally to House Helmore, as he quickly loses interest in the conflict between the houses after Cinderak City falls. Instead, forced to focus on proving his might by enforcing his right to lead by punishing all those alphas who sided against him. In an epic fistfight, Djangar beats down dozens of challengers until there isn't a Goliath and Primus willing to face him. So he's basically been like, you talked a little bit of smack about me, so go stand over there. Now, firstly, beats down dozens of challenges. Let's say it's 2 dozens, all right? 24.
Yep.
Two baker's dozens. 26 alphas, all right?
Yeah.
Each of these alphas, technically, is in line to become the new Over Tyrant, all right?
That's a, by the way, just to interrupt very slightly here, it's a great name for a gang. The 2 Baker's Dozens.
The 2 Baker's Dozens. The Baker's Dozen would be an excellent corridor gang.
Yeah. It'd just be fantastic. Yeah.
Damn it.
Anyway, continue.
Do you think... I don't remember if we talked about this during the Goliath episode, because it was like 2 years ago and like 200 hours of content before now. Do you think he fought the 2 Baker's Dozens at the same time?
I want to say it starts off as like, you know, there's a bit of respect going on. We'll go in one at a time, and then it sort of escalates into like, well,
He's killing a lot of people.
He's beating a lot of skulls in this like piecemeal lining up to die sort of process, to the point where they rub their 3 brain cells together and go, let's jump in with 3 of us at the same time. And they go, oh, he smashed all through.
It's when so the guy goes, well, hold on. You're telling me if I mix cerulean blue and sunset yellow, I get a beautiful emerald green. And then this other Goliath goes, what did you just say? Should smash him.
Yeah, exactly. So and I could just see the numbers building till there's probably like, you know, 10 on 1 at the end of the I guess the final fight. And Gunfist he's already warmed up by that stage. So, you know, the shoulders are loose. He's just like, you guys are cold, coming in cold. I'll just clock you all.
Let's do it. Let's just do it. Well, then during book 3 of the Wrath in Succession, the Ruins of Yardlin, Djangar basically is forced into a truce. That he's basically, him and Queen Adina effectively have to stop their conflict, because obviously Ozzy Oranthus has come back, and the 2 of them have just gone, oh no, we need to stop killing each other for a second. We need to just figure out what is going on.
Yeah.
Let's maybe assess this situation. And then you have in, is it the Spire of Primus, which we still haven't done. We need to do that soon.
We will do that.
Shouldn't be talking about this too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, the House Goliath and House Grime are basically like best friends in this book because of their alliance, obviously up until now. They are basically fighting back to back. There's in fact some great sections there where you have like the Grime Jaegerkin and like the Grime militias backing up Goliath gangs, or basically Goliath armies in conflict. And so I can imagine Djangar is really behind the scenes there of basically meeting with these nobles from House Grime, basically just going, listen, we are all in trouble. And you know my house, you don't know me, but you know like what I am, basically. So I think if we side up together and keep this alliance going, we can come out of this on top against, let's be honest, these horrific monsters that are or these insane cultists that are following this robot man. Like,
well, and I think this is that you know, cunning, and that, I guess we'll call it intelligence for use of a better term, that you can see that is required in a leader, where they're saying the status quo is going to be broken here. Necromunda went into horrendous upheaval, but I think, and without going too much into, I guess, the conversation that we'll be having around the Spires of Primus, that a lot of the expectation is that we will return back to something that is familiar to us, return back to something that is almost the status quo. But Gunfist can see that we're not going back down that pathway. We're going down a very, very scary pathway because the lights are off. No, just Goliath. But
it's like the old Ogrins.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about. Can't get into the Chimera. It's dark in there, boss. But I think they would be able to understand that the threat that they're up against here is not something that is just purely divisive in the sense that it's going to have, X gangs becoming more powerful than others, and this normality of fighting as we normally have done in the past, but more a case of that everything that we know is going to be thrown out of sync, and that may mean that gang houses may lose their power. They may become so disjointed and so thrown off from what they should be that we need to band together. We need to make an understanding, and that's where you need a quality leader at House Goliath, and that's where Djangar becomes that quality leader in the sense of going, we need to react better than what we have been throughout the entire Aranthian succession, which has been complete upheaval for the world.
Yes, and we're obviously not wanting to get into the sort of details of that book because we haven't really gone into it. But yeah, no, I agree entirely on what you're saying there. But we've talked a lot about Djangar. Now, what if we move on to another one here? So I want to go back to House of Chains here, which I think actually both of them we've done so far have been in House of Chains. So we're staying with House of Chains here. And
which is probably good because we're doing Goliath characters. You don't want to drift too far away from House of Chains.
You have 1, 2, 3 of them that come from other books.
Yeah, they want to be in House of Chains. But anyway, that's detracting from the point where...
Yes.
Remember, this is a quick episode.
This is a quick episode. So I want to touch on one of the weirdest sort of Goliath characters of all of them, and that's really saying something when you take into account that they're all a bunch of like test tube babies full of steroids. And that's old Three Eyes, the Goliath Sump Beast. Now, there is a story told most often by itinerant fungus farmers deep in their cups, or by hucksters keen for remark, that describes what some call the mother of the sumps, the first and greatest of all the sumpcrocs. They claim that the beast that eventually came to be known as Old Three Eyes started out as a cute, if somewhat snappy pet, purchased by an Uphive noble from an off-world trader for a sum that would make a guilder wince. The pet was gifted to the noble's favourite daughter in celebration of her majority. But within the year, the creature had grown to such a size that she threatened her mistress's life and limb. After the pet ate the governess and 3 of the house yeomen, she was forced down a sluice tube, never to bother the house again. A hardy beast of muscle and tooth, the creature survived the ordeal and was later discovered in the Underhive by members of House Goliath. Having grown huge, and not to mention sprouting 2 additional heads, Goliath gangers captured the beast, though not without loss, and turned her over to the house masters, who cloned her and brought into existence the line from which all Underhive sumpcrocs are bred. The original creature, so the stories say, grew so large that she escaped the breeding chambers and fled into the depths of the sump. There, the drunken fungus farmers claim, she resides to this day, a monster capable of slaughtering entire gangs. It is said that bold Goliath gangs can even lure Old Three Eyes out of her lair with the right kind of bait. A trussed-up Delacroix does the job nicely. Of course, once the lumbering 3-headed beast enters the fray, the gang is advised to keep their distance. So we are talking about an absolutely enormous three-headed Sumcroc. It is Godzilla and Cerberus if they had a baby.
I want to interject here and say I actually think this lore is a bit silly. I don't believe any of it. I think it's a bit of a crock.
Oh, yes. Jesus Christ.
He's here all week, folks.
Yeah, yep. He's here all week, but I'm not. That was great. It is very, I won a baby gator at a county fair and flushed it down the toilet, and now it's eating people in the Florida Everglades.
Yeah, exactly. And can be lured out by jacked up muscle monsters who seem to have an affiliation with it for some ungodly reason. Yeah.
We have... What's the word I'm looking for? We have... captured this Delark, so we're going to cover him in barbecue sauce and throw it at sort of throw it into the sewer and hope that someone gets it.
Yeah, exactly. And by someone, we mean old Three Eyes. Right, so this thing is just total terror incarnate. This is, as you say, alligator down the toilet bowl. If this thing came up through whatever sewer or latrine that you had, it's eating everything in that toilet block, in the hab block, and just going to town. But I love the fact that the Goliath gangers were able to make more crocs from the beast, which is just so it was turned over to the house masters and they cloned more from it.
But I'm genuinely imagining there's a Nat born or someone smarter and he's got just a bunch of fresh tube babies with him, just beyond useless, and he's looking at them and goes, "Go stand over there. Why? I want you to fight it. By myself, by yourself." Okay, boss. Gets there, gets chomped. Then he goes to the next tube baby. They move 10 feet backwards. Go stand over there. Why? I want you to fight it. You want me to fight it? Yep. By myself, by yourself. All right, boss. Gets chomped. The remaining gang moves back 10 feet. And so on and so forth. And that's how they lured Old Three Eyes, which is a ridiculous name because it should be Old Three Heads.
It really should. It's a little bit sort of, I thought, from the initial name, I was like, oh, it's a Sumcroc that, has taken enough injuries that it's lost most of its eyes except for 3. Because a Sumcroc has more than, it's got 4 eyes.
It's got a bunch of eyes.
Bunch of eyes. So your idea about how they lured them would make total sense.
To a Goliath, that's genius.
Yes. Oh, mate, you're an expert trapper. You just, you do it with such cunning and purpose. It's just impossible to undermine your technique.
And then they got it back to the house. Yeah, and went to, I'm guessing, the docks and that were cloning all the Goliath, and we've got something for you. And it's oh, what is it? It's got lots of teeth. We need. And they say teeth, and just all of a sudden there's a guy from the Autocenos just poking his head around and being like, what?
Yeah. Just because of his pronunciation. He's like, are you Xenos? I'll shoot you.
And this doc goes downstairs and looks at it and is just like, how the hell did you manage this? Yes. Not what I asked. That's awesome. Get me some of its blood. And they've started making the regular crocs. But, they've obviously needed to keep feeding it. And they've kept it going, so it's gotten bigger and angrier and has broken out. And they're just like, we don't care. But we'll deal with that later. Don't worry about it.
Do you think its name originated from the fact that the Goliath were just couldn't think of the word for head at that point? And we're just a proper brain fade of just it's got 3 ears? No, you're a moron. That's not an ear. 3 tails? No. God, you people are so dumb. It's got 3 heads. Oh, Gulag, you are so intelligent.
You're so smart, Gulag.
Can't wait till you're the alpha gets killed because of that one statement.
Correct.
Ajax is just like, I'm the alpha, mate. I saw you.
What'd you say? Did you say something about my nose? No. Well, if you look at that image from the House of Chains of old Three Eyes, she has 3 heads, obviously, but the middle head and the head on image right appear to not have any eyes. So it could be that the original head only has 3 eyes left. Probably because the little snotling turd of a girl who owned it poked one of them, which is why she tried to bite her.
Makes sense.
The other 2 heads have grown after being flushed down the space toilet into the thousands upon thousands of years of, toxin and radiation and the zygotes and stem cells that are getting flushed into the bottom of the hive by the Goliath.
Yeah, and then just forming an extra 2 heads, of course. I'm just thinking about the absolute, just pure terror that would strike you as a little scrunky little corridor, just looking for your next big win. And you're just like, I'll just follow this sewer. I'm sure there'll be something down here. And then you encounter this. And it's not even like it sneaks up on you. You're just like fluffing around and you just see this thing crawling through. You're just like, I gotta go, baby. I'm out. I'm just, I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna
screw the gang, screw the emperor. Yeah. Where'd them gene stealers get to?
Yeah, exactly. I got one chance, and that's grow an extra limb. That's the only way I can see myself defeating this. But this is a terrifying prospect of a creature because it's off-world as well. We can't pass over the fact that this thing probably came from Catachan or came from some other death world where it was not the most friendly creature on there, and then comes to Necromunda and is just bombarded with all manner of toxin, radiation, and everything else, turns itself into even more of a terrifying aspect, and then House Goliath go, that is horrendous, let's clone it. That's, we don't want no fear cats. We don't want no, mechanical spiders. They're all like loser pets. We want a giant crocodile with a disgusting attitude. That's what we're after. That defines us as a gang. That makes sense to us. Because if I was a creature, I'd be a crocodile with a bad attitude. But I think the concept of them cloning it that to me says that members of House Goliath, like their house masters, were going, okay, how much more can we push with our cloning technology? And then this is opening a door to something else that we probably don't have the time to talk about, but I don't care. About how many other things would House Goliath have dabbled in terms of cloning?
Gorillas.
Gorillas.
What else do we call ostriches? No, emus. No, what are the cassowaries from Queensland?
Oh, cassowaries. Oh, my Lord, because I've got the little mohawks as well.
Yeah, man.
That would be horrendous.
Oh, okay, Absolutely. Stop. Gang idea. So,
the cassowaries.
We haven't done gang ideas for any of these because you don't have a lot of time. We'll do a gang idea at the end. But hear me out. Ash Waste Goliath gang, instead of dirt bikes, they're riding cassowaries. You take those Lumineth.
The kangaroo horse thing.
The kangaroo horse things.
Yeah.
Give them bird heads and Goliath mohawks. My dude, it kit bashes itself.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah, and the more prestige they have, the larger the crest on the cassowary.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I see it. That would be very, very cool. Actually, I could definitely see that as just a really fun image to be playing with.
Yeah. But they're definitely gorillas. They're gonna have gorillas as the way we have dogs and
but where
cats
do they get
and
gorillas
stuff.
from? Think about their the creatures on Necromunda, I'm thinking about like a hound that they clone.
The crocs have come up from off-world.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But like, okay, yeah, true, yeah. I'm thinking more locally. I was thinking like a really big dog, like just a really angry looking, like Staffy or something like that. Just this huge mama jummer of a dog, like ridiculous sized. Or maybe I'm being a little bit too linear in my thinking. Maybe there needs to be something a little bit odd, or a rat. Do you reckon they've ever tried it with a rat? No, they wouldn't do that.
They see rats as piddly little things
nothing.
like, turtles, like Galapagos Island turtles, like snapping turtles, iguanas. Actually, a lot of reptiles. I see them as being big fans of reptiles.
Yeah, true. Or even things like
Gorillas.
Yes, okay. Yes, I'm picking up that you think gorillas should be one of the options.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? Yeah, okay.
Yes,
cool.
sir.
Sometimes you're a bit cryptic, but I managed to work that one out. What about ambles? Do you reckon they've tried to dabble in ambles? If they could.
No. Like, I think it would be cool if they did, but I can't imagine they would, because they'd be looking at it going, you're too dumb to take to a fight with us, and we're Goliath, so that is saying something.
You reckon so? Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Because you want a creature you can train. You're not going to train an amble.
That's a fair point, actually. You're right. You're going to struggle to train a creature like that. Did you reckon they ever? Do you reckon they ever would have been able to train something like a Catachan Devil or something like that?
Okay. So we're talking about like proper dumb stuff as well, are we?
Yeah. Tell me what you really think.
Yeah, no, like, I love this, because the Catachan Devils are like millipedes, but with like big scorpion legs, and they got they're... Oh, but then some of the big ones become like the size of tanks. No, I would love for that too. Didn't they used to think they were Tyranids?
Yeah, they did. There was a moment. Well, I don't know if it's canon or if it's whatever, but yeah, there was like some sort of genus of the Tyranids or something like that.
I swear
they remained behind on Catachan, and yeah.
And basically went feral, was it? Like
yeah,
they were like it somehow got to Catachan or Catachan, if you want to say it wrong. And
sounds the better way to pronounce it.
I've heard someone say that. I looked them. I was just like, no.
Catachan.
But yeah, the theory was that the devils got to Catachan and somehow got disconnected from the hive mind, and basically turned into this just monster, but it was only on a single planet. Kind of like what are the gene stealers with the big Zoidberg noses?
The Yimgal.
The Yimgals, yeah.
Yeah.
Like them. They were separated because they started feasting on those worm things, and the hive mind's like, brother, brother.
We'll have enough of that. But so okay.
No, I don't think the Catachan Devil. No. But there are some very cool things on Catachan. I think we've talked about a couple of
actually, when I think about it, there would be some sort of bear equivalent that I could imagine if House Goliath got their hands on, they would try and clone. That would make sense.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like gorillas, bears.
Yeah. Imagine a bear that they try and graft more like croc skin to. So it's a patchwork of fur and this croc skin, which they would just be like, that's the perfect fighting beast, and we can get it to listen to commands and so forth. Ooh. Like absolutely terrifying, but would make sense to the to House Goliath.
Yeah. No, you know what? Yes, because I think they'd be cloning a lot of these things, and we've completely ignored something about the Goliath. They'd be cloning them for the fighting pits.
Of course.
Of course.
Yes. Wow. So if they get
that's
and
great.
it's a horrible sport, but if they were to get roosters to fight against each other, they would
clone them with like velociraptors. They'd basically be velociroosters. Velociroosters. Boom. Cannon. Velociroosters.
Love it. Yeah. Okay, so velociroosters, that'd be something else, wouldn't it? That would be like, when I say something else, not necessarily the velociroosters, I'm talking about the nature of what they're cloning and what they're building for the fighting pits. That's the terrifying stuff.
If you were a Dark Elder homunculus who got bored and wanted to just take a holiday, just doing some real casual flesh mastery, you could go to Necromunda, go to House Goliath, and basically just be like, listen, I'm Raxoth the Impure, I'm the flesh master of the, coven of the umpteenth woe or whatever, and just be like, I can make monsters that will kill literally everyone on this planet. And the Goliath are there for some reason, all with big stogie cigars, and they're just like, say less. And I'm loving say less.
I know you are.
And then they're just like, these doors open up and these docs are all just like, yes, Vraxoth or whatever I said your name was, come on in. And he just spends decades just making fighting beasts and velociroosters and like gorilla pigs and like just all sorts of stuff. And then, he sees he sees like House Ash and he's like, you're making lizard cats. Oh, that is pathetic. Like, I have the 5-butted monkey. And then everyone's just looking like, oh God, this guy saw the island of Dr. Moreau and brought it to life. No.
Yeah. Your idea of the Dark Elder, though, is, what is it? When people go off and do professional development. That's what it is. I'm just going off to do some professional development on Necromunda. They've got a very different way. And it's like, imagine a chef going to a different restaurant, cook similar cuisine. But it's just like, I just want to see their process. I want to see, what their ethics are about, what their ethos is. What speaks to them to create, something that could rival my 5-butted monkey, We need to find that. That would be perfect.
It's like, you're overcomplicating things. Just go and do something dumb. And he's just like, what about a 5-butted monkey? Stop with the 5-butted monkeys. This is why we're kicking you out of the coven.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need another 5-butted Urgle.
You need to go. Learn some genotech from the streets. So
yes,
head to Necromunda.
It's kind of like those movies from the early 2000s where the ballet dancer couldn't get the moves right or whatever, so she goes to the local urban high school and learns how to do like street ballet. Or whatever it is, or because it's always you're learning how to do it on the streets, or you're a cook and you go down and you go to like some food truck and you'll learn how to do street burritos or whatever the movie is. It's great. Like, inevitably there's going to be like James Van Der Beek or Katie Hunt. Basically anyone from Dawson's Creek is going to be there, or someone from 10 Things I Hate About You, whatever. One of those, an actor from one of those movies. And Nathan Fillion, because he was in everything. Although if it's from now, it'd be Pedro Pascal. The dude is in everything. Yeah. He'll be
and
like
has this
chef.
Connection where he just has this dawning moment where he learns something. He's just like, I get it. And then goes back, captures an entire guard regiment and just turns them into 3-butted humans.
And goes back to the Dark City. They look at it and be like, this is perfection.
Yeah, you've nailed this. Don't you? This is your Mona Lisa. What does that mean? We don't know.
this Kabbalite's just like, why do they need 3 butts? Everyone knows butt skin is the softest and most tender of skins. What do you think we line our Cabal armor suits with? And they're just like, obviously. Done.
Yeah.
Wouldn't 5 butts be better then? It's just like, no, then it's too much butt skin. Like, Jesus. And then Azrael Vecht is just looking at him like, 5 butts, you say? Sorry, we talked a lot about butts there.
We have. I didn't think I'd ever mentioned butts that many times.
But what were we talking about?
The three-eyed.
Old Three Eyes. Yes.
Old Three Eyes. So, look, as I said, like it kind of opens a door because we don't really talk about this weird aspect of House Goliath, where cloning creatures and so forth is the next thing, because again, it doesn't apply to our gangs. It doesn't apply to your games, because you might have a beast here or there, but the concept of it is really, really cool. Like that they're messing around in areas that probably even like, the Auto Xenos is about the only one who might give two hoots about what's going on there. But even then, they'd be like, well, you're doing it in such small batches. Your success rate is ridiculously low. So who cares? Dibble dabble, go for it. I don't really care that much.
But it also brings up the question, and I think this is something that the obvious answer is... it's obvious what the answer is. Sump croc eggs. We're obviously eating them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. So this is something that we did in our, culinary episode from ages ago of, absolutely, there would be an element of you can eat the sump croc as well. Yeah, that's your protein.
But like...
And then your
the
Velocirooster. Velocirooster, that's more food.
It's poultry. But like, so we've got old Three Eyes and then the regular sump crocs, because we know the regular sump crocs were bought from off-world as well, and they were pets, and it was very common. This once again goes back to, you go to the county fair and you win a baby gator, and you do whatever it is you want. You have a baby gator. It bites you. You put it in the toilet. You flush it away. Yep. And those would be breeding down there. And then when you take the genetic material from old Three Eyes and mix her in there, or possibly even get male sump crocs to be breeding with her for that brief period of time we have there. I don't know how reptiles breed.
No, did
they bond?
So you're saying whilst they've still got her in captivity, they're getting males that they have built from her genetic code or however it works, and then because she was the first,
but they cloned her. So I'm thinking they then got one-head versions of her, and we're getting the male sump crocs that they've possibly gotten from the local version, because I say local version, it's obviously still imported. And they're almost creating a breeding program. And then
you're saying
escaped,
sump croc is already on Necromunda? Is that your mind?
Sump crocs were imported as pets, much like old Three Eyes was.
Oh, okay. So you're saying she's not the first. Okay. I get you. Cool.
So okay. I've just looked it up. Crocodiles do have sex. So
you're going to ruin your algorithm.
Oh, guaranteed.
On your search engine.
So they do have sexual reproduction. It's not just lay an egg and then cuddle the egg and keep it warm, I guess, like penguins do.
But the egg needs to be fertilised.
This episode is going places.
Taking a turn.
I'm thinking they most likely had some sort of breeding program with the cloned versions of old Three Eyes, and then the remaining local sump crocs, or the sump crocs they previously had, because it says that they became bigger, they became more aggressive. A bunch of them were thrown down into the sewers, and like you said, they became a food source. And people were eating them. Then the Goliath come along and go, these things are redonk, they are huge, they are strong, and they love to fight. So I'm thinking they've captured them. Then they are cloning and causing changes to the sump crocs. So when they've got old Three Eye, they've cloned her a bunch of times, she escapes, they still have 3IV2. They make them make babies, and then they get the new subcrocs. So the modern subcroc, I believe, is a mixture of old Three Eyes clone babies and the clone babies of the other subcrocs. And that is how evolution occurs. Now,
this is brilliant because I love the fact that this is a Goliath Dramatis Personae episode.
Yes, and we're now talking about crocodile reproduction.
If you don't know the show, this is what the show's about.
If this is your first episode, stop. So crocodiles basically stopped evolving from got to what they were and stopped evolving approximately many years ago.
I think that there is a concept and an idea that they have not, basically since the time of the dinosaurs, that the basic element of them is still the same.
So approximately 66 million years ago.
Yeah, they just went, this is perfect, done. So imagine a Sunkrok on Necromunda would probably be somewhere in the similar realm, and the only evolution it would be having is because of
the genetic manipulation.
Yeah, because of the genetic manipulation, or just from the influence of the toxins and the chemicals on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got turbo radioactive croc.
Yeah. Honestly, that's my new thrash metal band name.
Turbo radioactive croc.
Yep. Yeah. Or my children's entertainment group.
Yeah.
Move over the Wiggles.
Yep. We got the TRC.
Yep. Turbo radioactive croc. I love it.
Right. So anyway, I think we have definitely spent a lot of time on Old Three Eyes here, but it's
which is once again a silly name because she has
three
many
heads. Yeah, well,
more eyes than that possibly.
I'm convinced they just forgot the word for head and just call it eyes.
Call it eyes. But we both agree that the way they captured Old Three Eyes was to send the tube babies in 10 feet at a time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, piece of candy. Piece of candy.
Yes, I do believe that would be the method. I guess we should go into at least one more. I'm sort of running out a bit of time here, but we definitely went down a different path with Old Three Eyes, so we'll actually get back to a proper Goliath character.
The Velocirooster.
The Velocirooster, yeah. Now, this is Tess Arc Up, Goliath Forge-born Hive Scum.
Ooh, okay. Good pick.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I believe from the House of Chains book, so we're really varying where we're going with this.
Well, look, as I said to you before, if it ain't from Chains, then it's not worth reading. I think I said that. Tess is reckless. Yeah, Tess is reckless, even for a Goliath Forgeborn. So reckless, in fact, that she has been a prospect far longer than most. Even the most savage Vat-born Goliath gangs finding her too dangerous to have around for long. Somehow, though, Tess has survived every dumb thing she has ever done. Whether it is climbing the hive shell barehanded, her custom storm welders slung over her back, and the Ashwins trying to snatch her away into oblivion, or taking on whole gangs all by herself, charging into their ranks before letting loose with her weapon. Tess doesn't know why she is this way, though those who have fought alongside her and lived suspect it is the lightning in her blood. Tess's batch suffered a vat malfunction during their gestation, a grid overload pumping hundreds of gigawatts of electricity into a amnio tank. Of all of her vat-born brothers and sisters, Tess alone survived, and even from birth she displayed strange qualities. Faster and more erratic than other Goliaths, she quickly took to the role of a shell runner, climbing the hive's sides and repairing its plasteel and ceramite skin, usually under the most horrific of circumstances. Her quick reactions and boundless energy kept her alive when many of her peers perished in ash storms or fatal falls. The danger of the shell, though, was not enough for Tess, and soon she started hiring herself to gangs for Underhive brawls. Her skill with a storm welder and fearlessness has made her respected by many gangs, though none have seen fit to sign her on. Tess is gathering a following of her own, however, and the day may yet come when she runs her own crew filled with wild prospects like herself. So, old Lightning Blood, old Zippy Zappy.
Old Zippy Zappy.
Zippy Zappy, that's her actual street name. None of this arc up. This is a cool character because this is very different to two of the characters we talked about. I'm still not regarding old Three Heads as necessarily a Goliath character.
Fair.
But this is a different one in the sense that it is not necessarily the brutalness and the cunning and that mild intelligence that is going to carry this character forward. This is lore based around something more of an anomaly, something of a character that doesn't necessarily fit the Goliath mold, so much so that, Vatborn Goliath are just like, yeah, nah, we don't need none of this arcing up in our gangs.
Yeah.
Because it's Tess arc up. So
That was quite good.
This is that type of character that you should be more ostracized within the Goliath and just creates that element of weirdness and allows you
Just quickly, the element of weirdness is really what we want to touch on here.
Yeah.
Because she is weird.
She's weird. But the other factor is that it is saying you don't need to be the biggest to be the most effective. That'll help you become the Over Tyrant. That'll help you become an alpha for sure. But if you're going to be dabbling in the ranks and understand that that's probably where your life is going to always lead, then you don't need to be a big old muscle monster. You just need to be a little bit strange and know how to use an arc welder. A storm welder, sorry.
Well, that's what it literally says about. So, once again, a lot of this is going back to stuff we talked about in the Goliath episode. But the Forgeborn are the promising up-and-comers of the House of Chains, harvested from a promising batch of Vatborn, or the sons and daughters of a powerful alpha. They represent the future of the clan. In typical House Goliath fashion, these future gang champions and leaders are not coddled or protected, but rather thrust violently into the world to prove their worth. It is a task the Forgeborn take to eagerly, often engaging in the riskiest professions for the clan, or bringing the most dangerous and unpredictable weapons to battle, so that they might cause enough carnage to draw the eye of the alphas and thereby earn their place in the gang. So these people are already nut jobs, where they're doing dumb stuff anyway. And then you have Tess, where she is so reckless, and it says there in the read, so reckless in fact that she's been a prospect far longer than most. Even the most savage Vatborn Goliath gangs find her too dangerous to have around for long. So when people look at the Forgeborn and go, those kids are insane. You see a bunch of them they literally sharpened toothbrushes and charged those rogue ambles, and they're just like, Tess set herself on fire because she couldn't figure out a birthday cake, right? And they're like,
and it was an ice cream cake.
It was an ice cream cake. It was a Freddo ice cream cake.
The worst kind.
But no, they're looking at it, the best kind. They're looking at her going, this is not good. So she's obviously Vatborn. So she's not Natborn. She hasn't come from some big famous alpha. The entire batch of them, the whole recipe gets ruined.
The recipe.
All right, what's a collective of tubes called?
Tuberculosis.
The tubercules. The entire tubercules gets wiped out. The electricity grid blows up, putting, gigawatts of electricity, which I don't think is a real thing.
Is that a real thing?
A gigawatt? Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Like the gigawatts of electricity going into specifically her tank, killing everyone else. And it's like she gets up and just goes, all right, let's rickety rock and roll. Just so you're aware, a gigawatt is typically the annually average power consumption for a city of 1.8 million inhabitants.
Oh, okay.
So it's about 1 billion watts.
Okay, yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... so that would be...
No,
somebody
1.34
just-
million, sorry. It's about 1 million watts.
So that's a lot of time saying what?
You're saying what a lot of times. But it gets in there, and she's just like, yeah, let's do it. I'm thinking it's probably fried her brain. And it's killed everyone else. I'm thinking she was just last in the queue, and it's just zippy zapped across, and it's burned out by the time it got to her.
Yeah. So they've all acted sort of like as...
like insulation.
Insulation. Not, well, is that not what a capacitor is? Or have I learned
Like
something
resistance.
Wrong? Resistance.
They've
that's what I
acted
was
as
thinking.
resistors to give her... and all it did was make her faster. Like
And cocoa bananas.
And absolutely cocoa bananas. You're absolutely right. But yeah, she gets in there and she's just like, yeah, let's go to town. Let's do it. And I'm actually wondering now. So a regular Goliath Forgeborn is movement 5. So 5, 4, 5, 3, 4, 1, 4, 1. 5, 4, 5, 3, 4, 1, 4, 1. And she is 6, 4, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1.
Yeah.
So she's better movement, worse weapon skill.
Yeah, too jittery.
She's too jittery, but she's got she's got a 2-up initiative. So she's basically at like Escher levels there.
I honestly, I see her as not somebody who's like, just this like stealthy, quick sort of like, oh wow, you're just like, you're like a ninja-y assassin.
Her leadership's better, her cool is better, her willpower and intelligence are better as well.
I see her as...
It zapped her into being an Escher.
It really did. Maybe, that was the goal all along. We're just trying to clone more blades. That's what the objective was from the very beginning, and it ended up just being, oh no, we've made Goliath. But this is, with the right amount of power, this is what we can get. We can get a blade who, unfortunately, the brain pan's fried though. So,
yeah.
But I like the idea of her being more like jittery and more sort of, just like you wouldn't want to have a conversation with her. It would just be like, oh yeah, so then we can do this and just, like going at 100 miles an hour. And you're just like, please stop. Like, just go. I've worked with people like this who just don't know when to, I don't want to be so crass as to say shut up, but that's about it. And they're just like go at 100 miles an hour. They're just like, oh, I'm going to do this, then I'll move this, then I'll move this. You're just like, just slow down.
It's when they put water in, when they add water to the coffee beans to make their coffee in the morning, the water is actually Monster Energy drink.
Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of person that you're going to get. That's what I could see Tess as being. It's just like, all right, then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to join that gang over there, but I can only join them for like 6 cycles, maybe 3, I don't know. But look, they've got to pay me now. You pay me now, and then I'll go weld something with my storm welder, and then I've got to climb out onto the outside of the hive. But I'll do that before I start fighting with you guys. And they're just like, oh, what have we done?
I'm also imagining that, but also at some point randomly during the stealth mission, she's just like, this is taking too long. Leroy Jenkins. Sorry. Tess Arkham.
It's like, what is she doing? It's too late, baby. It's already the wheel is in motion. What is it? You can't get the toothpaste back into the tube. Tess is out, mate.
Yep.
She's done. So that's where I can imagine this character is. It would be, obviously a very tough and effective fighting character, but at the same time, just bonkers for anybody trying to direct her in just a single linear motion. Just like, okay, let's stay on target.
I'm just imagining she's got an iPod and the only song on it is that song by Pink, You in Your Hand.
Yeah.
It's like, 'cause I'm not here for your entertainment. As she's just stabbing Orlux.
Yeah, exactly. Just welding things, zapping things, cutting things. It's almost like...
It's weaponized ADHD.
Yes. There we go. There we go.
Tess is... okay, in my mind, Tess is she's a tube baby that has used her kin as insulation and resistance to stop someone who dropped the world's biggest toaster into the amniotic pool.
Absolutely, yeah.
And literally, she has... It's like... So people with, like, spicy brains will get that hyperfixation where they will just perfect the most random skills.
Spicy brains.
And that's what this woman does. She weaponizes her neurodivergence and is so... I think she would be loosey-goosey on so many things, like you said. She is just jittery. But when she focuses, you can just imagine she'd go from bouncing like foot to foot with all this noise to just... It just almost... Have you seen the Futurama episode where Fry drinks 100 cups of coffee? And all of a sudden, it's just... You just hear... Whoa.
Yeah.
And she looks around and time has stopped. And she just charges. And she literally welds corridor to other corridor. And they're just like, what is going on? And then because that guy said something that she didn't like, she also welds corridor to the Forge boss that was supposed to be leading this battle, because he got a little bit mouthy. And meanwhile, she's got the headphones on and it's just blasting Pink. Right, she maybe the odd bit of Christina Aguilera and that girls just want to have fun song.
Yeah,
but also Jolene, because she loves a bit of the old school.
Yeah, and then just the occasional ballad in there or something, just to like, this is my toned down music, and it lasts 16 seconds. That's it. She's like, okay, I'm toned down. Crank it back up to the good stuff.
Because I'm not here for your entertainment.
Just buy a drink. Just buy a drink and get out, please.
Just walks into a bar and just starts screaming.
Yeah. Welding people to other people, welding pizza bar. It's like, Tess, every Sunday. And then you just like, I only just came for one drink, and you never buy a drink. Please buy a drink, get out. But it even says in the read, Tess has survived every dumb thing she's ever done. So even within the realm of Necromunda, it's given that this person, this individual, has just done some absolute brain melting nonsense where they're just like, please Tess, you can't do this kind of thing. You need to be a bit sharper, you need to be a bit less full on. So I think it's a great character because it's just so off kilter to a Goliath character,
because she's done the Tessie arc up. She said, hold my beer and watch this. I'm sick of us planning all this nonsense. I'm just gonna go knock on the door and see what happens. They're like, you're gonna die. Like, no, I think I'll be all right. And she goes up and knocks on the door of that, rogue Freogren gang, and they're like, "What do you want?" She goes, "You guys should come out here." And like, okay. And she's just stood aside, and the gangs come out, and then she just starts welding them to each other. And they're like, what are you doing? We were going to sneak in, we were going to frag them from above. She goes, but now that one has two heads. Yeah. And they're just like, we need to leave.
You're not getting recruited. And then she always finishes off with her classic catchphrase, which is, all's well that ends well. Dude.
All right.
sing
So
on.
it's been a good podcast. Okay. Tess, I love her. I think she is, once again, every character except possibly old Three Eyes has been a various form of different. I mentioned this earlier with, I believe, Ajex, where the characters of Goliath all seem to be very dull but incredibly violent. And the ones that make a difference, the ones that sort of step outside that sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? That template, which is a weird thing to say to do when you're talking about the Goliath, because they're all off a template.
Yeah,
they're all
true.
off the standard recipe. You look at it and you almost go, this is how you stand out in this gang. Sorry, in this house. You, what's the word I'm looking for? You are really just wanting to be different from the template enough that people look at you and go, oh, you're what we want. You're the thing here.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to I think I remember hearing this old saying of you can have quality, speed, or cost, but you can only have 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of what we see, especially in Ajex and Djangar, is that, those 3 offer you all 3 elements, and that's why they are Dramatis Personae. That's why their characters become sort of folklorish and legendary in the sense that they offer you brute, brains, and cunning.
Yes,
so
exactly.
And this is why Tess will never be a tyrant. This is why Tess will never be an alpha. She doesn't offer those 3 elements, but she certainly offers a little bit of wild fun that is not necessarily something that you would normally see in a normal Goliath gang. And I'm talking about from the point of creation. As a player, you create your gang. You're not looking to have a Tess style character within your gang. It just doesn't really fit that archetype of what you expect to see from Goliath gangs.
Exactly.
So, yeah, definitely Ajex and Djangar create these elements where you're just oh, that seems almost impossible. And that's what makes them great sort of focal points as Dramatis Personae.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so we haven't done it for all of them because, as we said, I think it was almost 2 hours ago, you are short on time.
I'm short on time. I think we aimed for 90 minutes, but in classic Underhive Lorekeepers style, we
started talking about crocodile reproduction.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, okay. I just want you to pick any of the characters that we've talked about so far and build a gang around it. And it can't be goddamn Venators. We've gotten quite a few complaints on our Patreon where we've done every generic Dramatis Personae. Go over there, check out the series, patreon.com/the Underhive Lorekeepers podcast. But whenever we built a gang idea, it was just yeah, man, it is just a Venators gang.
Venators, baby.
Yeah, we don't build a Venators gang. People were just you guys need to come up with something that isn't a Venators gang. So Nathan, who are you picking, and what is your gang?
Oh, it's 3 Eyes. Okay. Now,
I was not expecting that.
It's 3 Eyes because other than Tess, the other 2 just go build a Goliath gang. That's it.
Fair.
Build a Goliath gang, and you have ticked, 8 out of the 10 boxes that are associated with the other 2 characters. Tess, build a Goliath gang that ostracizes one of its members and has nothing to do with her. You've built the gang around Tess. However,
you built my family.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Or at least, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah. So I'm picking old 3 Eyes not because of Old Three Eyes. I'm picking it because of the House Masters, right?
Okay.
And I really am like, I don't want to hear this answer because if it's the wrong answer, I'll be so upset with you. Have you seen Gladiator?
Starring famous Indian-Canadian comedian Russell Peters?
That's it. Obviously you have. Right.
If there is anyone who has listened to even a moment of this podcast who hasn't seen Gladiator, you cannot listen to us until you've watched that movie.
I don't think we have that authority, but sure.
No, we can. I'm banning you. And you,
Okay.
yep, you, I know you're listening. Stop it. Stop.
Yep.
Stop it right now. Not right now. Go and find Gladiator on whatever streaming service or whatever, like YouTube. Like I don't know. Stop listening. Go and watch that, and then when you come back. We'll wait.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
Nathan, we're waiting.
I'm sorry.
All right. I hope you enjoyed it. The things, the flowers at the end, heartbreaking. Anyway, and that scene with the boats, they actually did that in real life. But continue.
Things with the boats? What are you talking
When they
about?
put the boats in the Colosseum and fought on the boats.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
That was real.
Yeah.
They did that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I knew that. Anyway, you've seen Gladiator. The bit that I'm talking about then, yes,
Or
you have. No, you're watching Astartes. That is your New Year's resolution that we're enacting as of now.
Done.
You're watching Astartes this year. So, there's a scene where they go around and they're basically selecting the gladiators, So, like, slapping them on the butt and all that kind of stuff. This one's good stock. and all
Only
that
two
kind
butts. Useless.
ridiculous, pointless. But I'm mad. So the House Masters, what I see is very similar to the Mercator Sanguis, the corpse guild.
Yep.
Yep. In the sense that they're going around and hunting, but their hunters that they're using are Goliath, right? So these are hunting for animals within the Underhive, but they're also stealing off-world animals that they find. So launching raids on noble houses, launching raids on other gang houses to try and find, or if they get a lead about a very cool pet or something like that. They're like, we want that because we're going to start cloning that and we're going to put that into our pits. So they're sort of elite in the sense that, not every Goliath is going to understand what the purpose of their mission is. And it's not just simply about following orders, because they're doing weird stuff. They're doing things that require them to be a little bit off kilter. And the aesthetic I'm thinking of is, you remember the ogre manhunter who's also a hunter with the two pet animals?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is kind of that aesthetic, almost like the description of Djangar, hooded, guns ready, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So it isn't, the forge plate can still be seen underneath, but there's a lot of like hoods and there's like clothing and wraps all around them, because they kind of disguise themselves. They're trying to make themselves a little bit different, but they're also covered in treats. So like a chicken leg here, or, a slab of meat, or some particular pheromone bottle that they can pour all over themselves. But the leader of the gang, maybe not the leader would be the hunt leader, but one of the champions would be a house master, who then is the one who approves or disapproves the captures that they've got. So if it's particular tasty type of snake, and they go, ooh, we could clone that and we could make that bigger and better and nastier and so forth. Absolutely. Baggage that up, send it back down to the gang house, and we'll get our scientists to start working on it. They'll also be like, you got a big rat that you think came off world. that dies, and you get reprimanded within the gang for being dumb. So that's kind of like their culling process as well. So they look at people, they look at gang members, Goliath gang members, who are really capable of understanding something that is an exotic creature, or understanding something that they haven't seen before, not just, a towel with teeth. Yes, we know what that is. That can boot right off. Or it's not just another phalanx, or something that the other houses are already dabbling too much with. They want something unique and specific, particularly off-world stuff. So I can imagine them doing little forays and expeditions towards, say, something like the Stranger's Hive, and it's almost like going on safari for them. They get to the Stranger's Hive, and it's like, all right, get the cages ready. We're going to capture ourselves an absolute megaton of fun animals. And so they're just...
I need 3 knife ears. I need 3 knife ears.
Yeah, exactly. So it would be that concept. I mean, in my head, the majority of it is all about trying to capture animals that have been brought in. So things that they can actually use. So maybe a crude hound. They're like, oh, that is perfect. Or there's a rumour of a crutox. So they're just like, oh, yeah,
Ooh,
we'll get ourselves...
that's nice.
We will get ourselves one of them. That is right up there with exactly the kind of creature that we're looking for. So the Goliath gang itself, if you can... I don't know if you can do this, but equipping them with harpoons and the more weapons and tools associated with capturing creatures... And the aesthetic would be having cages with them and nets and things that they may not actually use in game, but would prove really, really valuable items whilst trying to secure something that you don't necessarily want to hurt or kill, but you just want to capture alive so you can do more with.
Your leader, both your champions.
Yep.
Your Forgeborn.
Yes.
Bruisers and Goliath specialists can be given equipment from the trading post. Yeah, so everyone except your gangers and your Juves can get equipment and weapons from the trading post.
That's great. That's all you'd need, because the gangers and the Jews wouldn't be trusted to necessarily make the selections. And as I said, the gang leader is a hunt leader. One of the champions may be his lieutenant, but one of the champions is somebody who does the analysis on the actual creatures and says yes, no, maybe. Most of the time it's just a plain yes or no. If it's a no, well, meat's back on the menu, boys.
So how are these connected to Old Three Eyes, though?
Because remember that bit where it talks about the hunt masters? That's all we need.
You got me. Yep, I love it.
The house masters, sorry. That's the house masters are the ones who cloned her and brought into existence the line.
And maybe you're trying to find some sort of sump sheep so we can just get Old Three Eyes back. Ooh, piece of candy. Lure her in because we need some more genetic material.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. This is a hunting gang, but I think the character of the gang's really important because, as I said, it goes against the idea of like success through martial prowess and proving yourself through strength. This is not what this gang is necessarily interested in. This is about providing some really exotic and fun creatures for the fighting pits.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, so do I. Have you got a gang idea, sir? Something that is as fun and exciting as Goliath hunting teams?
I do, actually. It is based around Djangar Gunfist, and it's actually a Venator gang.
Of course it is. Let's hear you upset everybody. Yeah.
No, it is a standard Goliath gang based around Djangar Gunfist. But what I would be doing is I would be leaning very heavily on the Goliath gene smithing. All right. Now, in my mind, Djangar would obviously only really now be going sort of down hive or into conflict when he was surrounded by like his chosen, for lack of a better term. So it would be a very, very small gang. They would, in my mind, either all be Natborns, so the actual like evolved Goliath, or they would be Vatborns. Unborns. So maybe people he met while he was in the wastes, or when he was out there, that he's then had the Goliath tracked down, and he said to them, we fought together in this particular siege, or we fought here. I'm now the leader of one of the biggest house, of the biggest house in sheer kilogram.
Yeah.
On Necromunda. I not only count you as an ally, I count you as a friend, and I want to make you part of my house. In fact, they would all be unborns, except for maybe one champion, who is like a proper Goliath enforcer. And you would...
Have you seen the movie Stalks?
No.
Okay, there's a bit in there where they're trying to eat the little baby in Stalks, the wolves, right?
Oh, thank God you just implied they were animals, because I thought they were people.
So in the movie Stalks, there's these wolves, they capture a baby, and it's a kid's movie, and they're like, we're going to eat this baby, blah, blah, blah. And then they can't do it because they fall in love with it, and they're just like, all right, everybody, you see this thing here? This is now a wolf, right? So they just declare it as a wolf. It's like I imagine Djangar doing with these unborns, who's just like, all right, everybody, see this guy here? He's a Goliath now. Everybody's just like,
yes, and the wolves turn into like a car, and they're chasing. Exactly. I have seen it. Yes, it's hilarious. Yes. But like, it would be a smaller gang because you would spend so many creds on their gene smith. Like, you would basically make them all as high leadership and as high damage as you could. Like, for example, your rapid muscle growth, so you can increase their strength by up to 3 points rather than 2, or just prime specimen. Pick one of the stats, increase it by 1.
Intelligence.
Intelligence, definitely. Then your unborns, you're just like, I want to turn you into like a proto-Goliath. It's -10. You become a little bit weaker, that sort of thing, or you know what I mean? Like you try and make them as powerful as possible. But
I totally agree, because, sorry to interrupt you again, but from what you're describing, the characters that Djangar's bringing in are already legends in their own right. They're already at a very high level. They're not trying to develop or build themselves. The reason they were able to survive and fight alongside of him is because these are some pretty top tier individuals already.
Exactly. But then with them, you're going to do something that I have specifically pointed out that I hate when people do. They are going to have the toughest armor. They're going to have the toughest guns. Like your Forge Tyrant is basically rocking around with like a heavy bolter or a bolter. You're getting them carapace armor. They've got sump crocs. Your Forge boss, same thing. Like, you are making sure they are just the absolute mamma jammers. And the moment you get into the ability to go to the trading post, you're giving your Forgeborns bolters, you're giving them flamers, you're giving them armored undersuits and mesh armor, and like you're hammering them with everything they can. You're getting them all the equipment you can, because this will help in representing that when they came from the wastes to join with Djangar, and then they've gone through the transformation to become Goliaths, you're purposefully turning them into better than your average Goliath. You know what I mean? Like, and I get it. The Forgeborns are technically already Goliaths, and that they've come from the vats or whatever, or they're existing Goliath children. But that's how I'd represent these unborn. Like, I would have them. What's the word I'm looking for? I would have them being, sort of brought in as these non-Goliaths.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I'm totally with that. The non-Goliath part of this is probably for me the most exciting element of it, because you're going to bring in characters that, you use the Goliath gang building rules and forge smithing rules to give them a little bit of character and a little bit of extra oomph that they wouldn't normally be able to get. But I think that's a very exciting way to show the travels of Djangar as well, because this is, there becomes a story and an element with each one of those characters about how they were met. It could even be like an adversary, somebody who he fought against, another bounty hunter who's just like, that dude was a pain in my A. But the respect is there, and I now have the power and the wealth to hire this person. I'm going to hire them as a permanent fixture, and it's not even, the agreement doesn't come out of respect or some sort of sense of loyalty or anything. It's purely just a paid contract. I just want you, but you're perpetually in my service now. So we pay you X amount of credits per cycle or whatever the case might be. Definitely.
If you choose to leave my service, I've given you these upgrades and they're yours forever.
Yeah. Because I respect. It's not, I don't. Not even respect. It's, I can see the value in having you, somebody like you, fighting with me.
Yep.
Or for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. It's a great idea, man. I really, really love this. I think it's a fantastic concept on how to take a base Goliath gang and really manipulate it and change it through the forge-born process, or the forging, the gene smithing. Sorry, I keep getting it wrong. The gene smithing process to make it something very unique and very individual.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Right. Cool. Do you have a favourite character from the episode?
Purely from where it took us, old Three Eyes.
Yeah.
In reality, though, I think of the actual characters. I would love to know more about Ajex.
Oh, mate.
I think
we're in sync.
Yeah.
I'm on the same mindset with you. Yeah, totally. I think as a character, about the exploration, about where it can go, and sort of like what we saw, that development with Djangar, Ajex would be a really cool character to just push further and further into the storyline. But Old Three Eyes is definitely the best talking point we had by a country mile.
Yeah, without doubt. But yeah, that is it. So that is our first episode into the house-specific hangers-on. Now, if you are interested in more hangers-on, like we've already mentioned, head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/the Underhive Lorekeepers podcast. We have like 12 episodes going over the various generic hangers-on, as well as a bunch of other episodes on a bunch of other stuff we talk about, including, as always, our free hobby diary. And the Patreon episodes are now available on a separate Spotify playlist called the Underhive Lorekeepers Patreon, where you can just listen to them there. And if you are on our Patreon there, you can link that to your Spotify and listen to our Patreon episodes on Spotify. Makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So,
yes, it does.
Yeah. Apart from that, Nathan, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I knew it. No. And I knew you were going to do that, because you're just a silly duffer sometimes.
Yeah. Well, should I end it with our quote?
Yeah, please do.
Now, this one here can either be about brutes or ambles or velociroosters or silverback gorilla bears, or it can also be about podcast co-hosts. You got to know when to whip them and when to treat them nice. They snap at you, hit it with the whip. They follow your orders, feed them a slave. They'll learn quick enough. And that's 7 whips Dra, brute handler of House Goliath. Bye, everyone.
See you.
Go to sleep, Nathan. You have to be up very soon.
I do. Bye, everybody.
Later. All right, Gregories, welcome back to my favourite part of each episode, because I hate doing the actual episodes and I really only do it to get to this part here. And in honour of our Goliath brothers and sisters, we are changing the reading of our Patreons this episode, and we're doing it in numerical order, or hex code. Black, Blizzard Blue, Caribbean Green, Robin's Egg Blue, Magic Mint, Green, Meadow Mountain, Cerulean, Outer Space, Blutiful, Indigo, Forest Green, Royal Purple, Turquoise Blue, Wild Blue Yonder, Dr. Toe, Asparagus, Grey, Manatee, Pacific Blue, Granny Smith Apple, Sepia, Teal Blue, Jungle Green, Shamrock, rock alright, Fern, Navy Blue, Blue, Screamin' Green, Sky Blue, Cornflower, Sea Green, Blue Green, Violet Blue, Aquamarine, Purple Heart, Raw Umber, Tropical Rainforest. This one's a little bit offensive. Beaver, Green Blue, Denim, Pine Green, Midnight Blue, Blue Violet, Blue Grey, Violet, Purple, Bluebell, Fuzzy Wuzzy, Eggplant, Vivid Violet, Shadow, Plum, Cadet Blue, Jazzberry Jam, Brown, Alfonso the Traitor, Inchworm, Olive Green, Chestnut, Red Violet, Periwinkle, Yellow Green, Wisteria, Silver, Mulberry, Brick Red, Antique Brass, Fuchsia? Fuchsia. Okay. Maroon, Mahogany, Electric Lime, Purple Mountains Majesty, Timberwolf, Raw Sienna, Copper, Charisse, Blush, Tumbleweed, Gold, Orchid, Razzmatazz, Mango Tango, actually my favourite drink from Boost Juice, Burnt Sienna, oh poor Sienna, Thistle, Spring Green, Red, Desert Sand, Maize, Razzle Dazzle Rose, Alfonso the Traitor, Almond, Green Yellow, Pink Sherbet, Marvelous, oh that's clever, Marvelous, Magenta, Pink Flamingo, Violet Red, Tan, Lavender, Banana Mania, Yellow, Tickle Me Pink, Goldenrod, Scarlet, wild watermelon, apricot, piggy pink, dandelion, dandelion. Yep, I'm not even editing that out. Sunset orange, bittersweet, melon, hot magenta, purple pizzazz, orange red, red orange. Like, honestly, shocking pink, salmon, radical red, orange, wild strawberry, outrageous orange, burnt orange, neon carrot, atomic tangerine, vivid tangerine, carnation pink, orange yellow, yellow orange. Seriously? Cotton candy, macaroni and cheese, peach, sunglow, lemon yellow, laser lemon, unmellow yellow, canary, and just white. And you know what? Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Obviously, these are not our actual Patreons. These are the standard 134 flavors of Crayola crayon colors. Now, they were arranged by the hex code. If you'd like to hear them in alphabetical order, look it up on Wikipedia and read it to yourself. I'm not doing that. Bye, Gregories.